I was so happy to meet you. Jungkook's emotional confession leaves ARMY in tears, loudly crying face purple heart. It was supposed to be just another late-night live stream. Jungkook, BTS's beloved golden magne, sat in front of a simple camera setup, wearing a black hoodie, hair slightly messy, the familiar sparkle of warmth and honesty in his eyes. The room was dimly lit, the kind of quiet atmosphere that made fans feel as if he was speaking directly to them, not to millions. Yet, what unfolded that night left the world stunned, hearts trembling, and timelines flooded. Because in just a few words, Jungkook turned what began as a casual Weber session into a confession so emotional, so raw, that it brought ARMY across the globe to tears. I was so happy to meet you. That was all he said. But it was enough that it wasn't just the words themselves, it was the way he said them. His voice cracked just slightly at the edges, his eyes glistened in the soft glow of the screen, and a small, almost imperceptible smile trembled on his lips. It was gratitude. It was longing. It was everything unspoken between a star and the millions who have walked beside him for over a decade. And yet, beneath that tenderness, a question began to rise in the minds of fans everywhere. Who exactly was Jungkook talking to? Was it ARMY? Was it someone specific? Or was it, perhaps, a farewell to the chapter that defined his youth? The live stream took place just weeks after BTS's milestone celebration, the moment all 7 members officially completed their mandatory military service, marking the end of a long and emotional hiatus that began in 2022. For over 2 years, fans had waited, counting days and clinging to every update. By June 2025, the long-anticipated return of BTS was finally real. But the joy of reunion carried with it an unexpected heaviness, a kind of bittersweet awareness that time had changed them all. Jungkook, who enlisted last among the members, had matured before fans' eyes, his tone quieter, his words more deliberate, and his gaze deeper. And so when he said, "I was so happy to meet you," it didn't sound like an ordinary thank you. It sounded like a man reflecting on everything: his past, his fans, his group, and the journey that began in a small practice room in Seoul and led him to become a global icon. The internet exploded within seconds. "He's crying," one fan posted on X, formerly Twitter. "He said it like he was saying goodbye," another wrote. In less than 10 minutes, hashtags like #JungkookLive, #GoldenMagne, and #WeWereHappyToo began trending worldwide. The live stream had been intended as a soft thank you session following the announcement of his ranking as number 4 in the top 100 most handsome faces of K-pop 2025, but no one expected it to become a global emotional moment. For years, Jungkook has been known for his perfection, his golden voice, his flawless stage presence, his ability to make the world hold its breath. Yet in that quiet moment, stripped of choreography, makeup, and spectacle, he revealed the side of himself that fans have always loved most, the human one. There was a sense of vulnerability in his tone that reminded everyone why BTS had changed the world in the first place. Not just for their music, but for their honesty. But the question wouldn't go away. His words, delicate and sincere, carried layers that fans could not ignore. "I was so happy to meet you." The past tense lingered. "Why not am so happy? Why not I am happy now?" The phrasing ignited a firestorm of theories, dissected across countless fan forums. Some believed it was simply a poetic way of expressing gratitude for ARMY's loyalty through the years. Others believed it was a reflection on BTS's long hiatus and the emotional reunion with fans. But a small, persistent corner of the internet whispered a theory that no one wanted to say aloud. What if Jungkook was talking to someone else? The timing was uncanny. Only a week earlier, AHOF, a rookie boy group that debuted in July 2025, had taken the internet by storm after their explosive success on music charts and their jaw-dropping performance on the show. Their debut EP, Who We Are, sold 369,850 copies in its first week, earning them the title of Monster Rookies. Their leader, JL, ranked number 3, just above Jungkook on the same list. The rise of this new generation of idols sparked headlines, debates, and comparisons that filled entertainment pages around the world. Fans wondered how BTS, after their hiatus, would navigate a changed landscape. And perhaps Jungkook, ever the perfectionist, felt the weight of those expectations more deeply than anyone realized. When he spoke those words. "I was so happy to meet you." Was it simply fan gratitude? Or was it something more complex? Was it a reflection on his identity in an evolving industry, his relationship with music, or his silent promise to someone from the past? One thing is certain: Jungkook's relationship with his audience has always been emotional, almost spiritual. From the beginning, he was the youngest, the one who grew up in front of cameras, who turned 15-year-old shyness into a 28-year-old presence that could command entire stadiums. His words, however few, often carry an almost poetic sincerity that cuts through even the loudest noise of fame. So when he chose that moment, quiet, unplanned, heartfelt, to express something so raw, the world listened, and yet, the deeper the conversation grew, the more mysterious it became. During the live stream, after that phrase sent fans spiraling into emotion, Jungkook paused. For a few seconds, he said nothing. He looked down, then smiled, a small, nostalgic smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "It's been a long time," he said softly. "So much has changed, but some feelings never go away." The silence that followed was deafening. ARMY flooded the comments, begging for clarity. But Jungkook, perhaps realizing how heavy his tone had become, quickly tried to lighten the mood. He laughed, scratched his head, and reached for his guitar. He strummed a soft melody, something familiar, something heartbreakingly gentle, and began to sing. His voice trembled on the first line, but steadied as he continued. The lyrics, improvised but sincere, echoed like a confession wrapped in melody. "If I could meet you again, I'd tell you everything I couldn't say before." It was as if the entire internet held its breath at once. Every fan, every listener, every person watching through a glowing screen felt the same wave of emotion, gratitude, sadness, and that indescribable ache that only Jungkook can evoke when he opens his heart through song. "BY Morning." The video had surpassed 30 million views. News outlets picked it up instantly. Jungkook's emotional confession breaks the internet, read headlines from Seoul to New York. Entertainment analysts pointed out how the simplicity of the live stream, no high production, no management intervention, made it even more powerful. One culture writer described it as a moment of unfiltered connection in an industry built on perfection. Still, speculation persisted. Who, if anyone, was Jungkook thinking of when he said those words? Some fans connected it to a past performance where Jungkook dedicated a song to someone who believed in him when no one else did. Others pointed out that the phrase, "I was so happy to meet you," mirrored a lyric from a song rumored to have been written during BTS's early hiatus days, a track that was never released publicly but registered under Jungkook's songwriting credit. Could it be that he was referring to that? To the memory of someone who inspired his artistry? Or was it his way of addressing the entire ARMY, whose patience had carried him through years of silence and uncertainty? BTS's story has always been about evolution, of art, fame, identity, and the human connection that ties them all together. The Military Service Act revision in 2020 had already immortalized their cultural influence, allowing members to defer enlistment until age 30. That law existed because of them, because their impact transcended entertainment. It reshaped how South Korea viewed music, youth, and legacy. But now, post-military and standing on the edge of a new era, perhaps Jungkook's quiet confession marked something more profound, a goodbye to the innocence of their beginning, and a welcome to whatever came next. His simple phrase became more than fan service. It became a symbol of transition, a poetic closure to a decade that defined modern pop culture. And though the live stream ended with his trademark smile and a cheerful wave, the afterglow lingered long after the screen went dark. Across fan forums, one comment captured the collective emotion of millions. "He didn't just thank us. He reminded us why we fell in love with him in the first place." Indeed, Jungkook's confession wasn't just for ARMY. It was for anyone who has ever felt seen through his music, anyone who has watched him grow from a boy with dreams to a man carrying the weight of the world's love on his shoulders. He didn't need to say more, because sometimes a single sentence carries the story of an entire generation. I was so happy to meet you. It's gratitude. It's nostalgia. It's the echo of everything BTS has stood for: connection, love, honesty, and resilience. And as the world waits for the group's full reunion, one truth remains unshaken. No matter how much time passes, Jungkook's words will linger, like a quiet melody that refuses to fade. The silence that followed Jungkook's trembling voice felt heavier than words. Millions of fans across the globe sat frozen in front of their screens, their hearts racing, their hands hovering over the comment section that was flooding faster than any moderator could control. Jungkook wasn't just talking that night. He was feeling. Every syllable, every pause, every faint smile between tears felt like a coded message, a confession he had been carrying alone. But what exactly did he mean when he said, "I was so happy to meet you"? And who, in the depth of that quiet smile, was he really speaking to? Was it the army who had stood by him for years? Was it a reflection of someone from his past? Or was it something more, something hidden, something that explains the unspoken emotion behind his eyes that night? It was supposed to be a simple Weverse Live. Nothing new, just Jungkook checking in with fans after news of his number 4 ranking on the top 100 most handsome faces of K-pop 2025 broke the internet. But what unfolded went far beyond visuals, rankings, or idol charm. It became an emotional storm, an unscripted moment that pierced through the distance between idol and fan, stage and screen. When Jungkook began singing softly, unaccompanied, the background dimmed, his voice echoing raw and unfiltered. "I was so happy to meet you," he whispered, before pressing his lips together, as if holding back something too fragile to speak. Armies across time zones began posting clips, their captions filled with broken hearts and crying emojis. It wasn't just what he said, it was how he said it. His tone carried gratitude, sorrow, and a mysterious tenderness, the kind that leaves everyone guessing. Some fans believed it was for ARMY, his eternal muse, the millions who carried BTS through their military hiatus, the ones who kept their music alive even when silence took over. Yet others noticed the way Jungkook's gaze shifted when he said those words. His eyes seemed to drift, not toward the camera, but somewhere distant, almost as if he was looking through it, past it, toward a memory only he could see. Screenshots began circulating. Zoomed-in frames of Jungkook's teary smile. Captions like, "He's not just thanking us, he's remembering someone," spread like wildfire on X and TikTok. One fan even slowed down the clip to analyze his micro-expressions, a slight quiver of his jaw, the tightening around his eyes, signs of emotional restraint. But what makes this moment even more haunting is its timing. BTS's military hiatus officially ended just weeks before. The world had barely adjusted to the idea of all 7 members returning, and Jungkook's emotional live felt like a release, the kind of catharsis only silence and distance can create. He had been gone for nearly 2 years, serving quietly, away from the spotlight. And now, standing before millions once again, he was no longer the boy who left. He was changed, matured, a man who had seen life beyond fame, beyond applause. But there's another layer, one that fans can't stop dissecting. During his live, Jungkook mentioned how he thought a lot during his service. That line, casual as it sounded, rippled across fan communities. What had he been thinking about? His future? His identity as an artist? Or something, or someone, that shaped the person he's become? As fans discussed his words, another piece of information resurfaced, one that tied the emotional outpouring to something larger happening in K-pop. The AH rookie group's sudden rise with their EP, Who We Are, had recently shaken the charts. One of its members, jeon, a young star ranked just above Jungkook at number 3, had gained massive attention for his resemblance to BTS's early sound. Industry insiders even whispered that jeon had been inspired by Jungkook himself, down to his vocal tone and artistic style. Could Jungkook's live, with its melancholic confession, be his silent response to the new generation rising under his shadow? Or was it more personal, a quiet conversation between eras, between who he was and who he has become? In that moment, it didn't matter. The truth was clear: Jungkook wasn't performing. He was breaking character. And ARMY, the people who know him better than anyone, felt it instantly. Comments poured in like waves. "Jungkook, are you okay? We're proud of you. Don't cry, we're here." But beneath the flood of love, one thread stood out. He said, "I was so happy to meet you. Does that mean goodbye?" The idea hit like lightning. Was Jungkook hinting at something ending? Could it be the close of a chapter? The transition from the boy idol we met a decade ago to the artist ready to redefine his path? Or worse, could it mean a temporary farewell before a larger announcement? That's when the theories began to spiral. ARMYs noticed that Jungkook's choice of words mirrored a lyric from an unreleased BTS demo rumored to be titled "Last Moment." The line, "I was happy to meet you, even if goodbye was waiting." The coincidence was too sharp to ignore. Had Jungkook just quoted a piece of BTS history never meant to surface publicly? And if so, why now? Meanwhile, Korean media picked up on the commotion. Articles flooded Naver and Dispatch, dissecting every emotional cue. Some reporters speculated that Jungkook's live was a subtle response to months of pressure following BTS's military discharge, the expectation to return as legends, to outdo even their own legacy. Others suggested something gentler, that Jungkook was simply overwhelmed by the love he received after years of absence.